Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode. I think this is episode 4. This is the fourth one we've done, right?
I
Of
think it's
of Monsters, where three of your favorite TikTokers play D&D, and then there's me. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the table. First off, we have Natty New.
I am playing Lenora, the Erinyes.
Yes, we have Meg.
I am playing Trin.
And we have Rose.
Hi, I'm playing Kavi, the Bugbear Barbarian.
The Bugbarian.
The Bugbarian.
The Bugbarian. I am your humble dungeon master. I will be everything else in the world, not to mention my GMPC, Warforged by the name of Wrinkle, who is something of an eldritch mystery. But that is to be slowly revealed over time, as is my particular want. Now, here's what I would like from my amazing players. Uh, if you would, if one of you wants to spearhead it, recap for us what happened. Give us a short version of what's kind of going on overall, and then more specifically what happened last session. If somebody wants to spearhead that and have other people chime in, that would work.
Who wants it?
Okay.
Right.
I can do it. I'll probably I'm looking over my notes, so I'll probably miss some details, so feel free to step in on this. Okay, so last session we left Eldon and Earl's house. We took the Sky Coach. And Trin, did you drive? Who drove?
It was
Was it you,
Kavi
Kavi?
did.
Kavi
Kavi drove? Okay.
It was a wild
Kavi
ride.
drove. It was an adventure. We stopped for directions and asked this poor man selling ice cream if he could give us some directions and take us to the specific address that we were looking for in the middle city. He was pretty flabbergasted, and we took all of his ice cream and we paid for it. And he got us there successfully to the address. We paid him off to have seen nothing. He didn't see anything. And then so we went inside, we explored a little bit, we ate ice cream, and we chose our bedrooms that were there, which were all very unique to our different characters, and that was so much fun. And then we looked over a journal that Wrinkle found in one of the dad's offices before they moved to the Skyway, and we explored a little bit more about Kavi's backstory. And where she came from, how she came here, and kind of the story behind how Eldon and Earl came to be her fathers. Let's see. I don't know. Did anyone else want to fill in any memories they have last session?
Elsewhere, the soldiers arrested Kavi's dads. And then at the very end of our session, obviously our characters didn't see this, the demon that's been trailing us found the vendor and was asking where Lenora was.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Dun dun dun.
Bum,
Dun,
bum,
dun,
bum,
dun.
bum,
Dun
bum.
dun.
So, we pick up the next morning after a long night of Kavi dealing with some very big feelings, realizing that their life was not exactly as it seemed, coming to grips with the fact that while Eldon and Earl never specifically lied to her, they also didn't volunteer all of the information. And so that has weighed fairly that weighed fairly heavily on Kavi's conscience, probably for most of the evening. After you guys separated to go to your respective sleeping arrangements the night before, we will start with Kavi. What did you do? Did you go to bed right away? What how did you deal?
I think Kavi being in like their childhood bedroom, some of which seemed familiar, some of like there was
Like
like
very
vague,
young childhood. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and there were still like small toys, if I recall,
Mhm.
those kind of things.
There's
And so
there's definitely there's definitely like a bed, and it's like in your room there is a bed, and when you were small it must have seemed monstrous to you because you still fit in it.
mhm,
It's a little bit like it's a little bit like the college kid coming home and still sleeping in their home twin bed. So like maybe your feet hang off a little bit, but it's still you still fit comfortably in it. And
mhm.
definitely on this bed, I feel like there's probably stuffies. Maybe
Yeah.
not your favorites by any stretch, because
Mhm,
those would have come with you. Um, but there are definitely some like plushies. There's like a owl bear and like a little owl bear cub and a beast kitten and bunch of other fantastical monster plushies that um, just make my heart get all warm and fuzzy.
mhm. I think Kavi, after they had kind of hung out and would have wandered in, um, and kind of like played with the stuffies for a minute.
Mhm.
And probably like played out a little bit of like, why didn't you tell me? Because I and like not filling in any of the language, but very much like, and then kind of thrown the stuffies across the room and pulled the mattress onto the floor and um like turned the room over, almost like not in a searching kind of way, but in a like, I don't want this to look the way that it is.
Even as you do that, as you're, I think wrecking the room is subjective. Like you're wrecking it in the sense that you're making it not look the same.
Hmm.
But do you think you're actively destroying what's in here? Okay.
No.
Um, so yeah, you're wrecking the aesthetic, but you're not destroying anything in particular. So there's probably not any crashes. There might be a couple of significant thumps periodically as furniture is thumps, scrapes, and that kind of squeaking sound as heavy furniture is moved across a wooden floor. Um, but nothing overly concerning that would draw the other three to your room. And as you as you're moving things around and kind of changing things to your satisfaction, you're not even sure what that satisfaction is. You're you're just moving things about so that things aren't the same as they were. And as you do so, your eye falls upon um, the nightstand as you're grabbing it and kind of moving it across the room. And there's a little like touch lamp that sits there. It's magic. It's like an ever burning torch, but you just touch it and the hood kind of comes up. You touch it again and the hood comes down. It's just that simple. Um, but as you're moving it, you see kind of hanging off of one of because the touch lamp, the hood itself, the framework of the hood when it comes up looks like a rose petal
Hmm.
or like a blooming rose. Um, and like when it's open, the light is on, it looks like a rose in full bloom, and when it's closed, it looks like a rose bud. Um, and it's currently closed, but as you're pulling the nightstand across the room, and like, yeah, you're trying to mess things up, but you're also noting that you're taking fairly great care to not knock the lamp off the table, because despite the fact that it is a magical object, it is still potentially breakable. You notice in sort of the center part of the bud of the closed rose, there's a glint of metal.
Okay. I'll look at it.
You look closer and you realize that something is trapped, something caught in there. To get a better look, you'd have to open the lamp.
Oh, sure. I'll open it.
Okay. You tap the lamp, and you see the rose blooms, kind of spirals open a little bit. Um, in our last game, we said that you had like a little amulet that your dads had given you that your proximity
Unlocks the things.
unlocks the doors and all of that stuff. Um, that was something of a. I misspoke just a scotch, so we're going to retcon something here. It is in fact half of a locket. And as the rose opens, you see nestled in there is the other half of the locket. And there's a picture on that. It's not a face that you recognize. It's not one that you have any clear memory of. But despite that, looks familiar. It is the features of a feminine bugbear that is most definitely not you.
I think she will glare at it for a long time before deciding to pick it up and see if it connects.
You reach out, you touch it. Maybe it's the proximity to the ever-burning torch, because even with the hood down or up, it's always on. There's no heat to it necessarily, but it is light, it is radiation, it does give off just a little bit of heat, so it's warm to the touch. And as you place it against your locket, it fits.
I'll take my locket off and leave it on the nightstand. And then I'll throw something else across the room.
Okay.
And grab my pillow and a blanket, and I'm going to go sleep in the tub.
Okay. Sounds good. You curl up in the tub. We're going to jump over to Nora. So Nora, you and Wrinkle were staying up a little bit later and going through the the journal. Um, you discovered some things, a little bit about Kavi's birth and origin and where she'd come from. Um, once you're done, like you hear sounds coming from Kavi's room. You get the impression she kind of wants to be left alone. Um, what as you've gotten to the end of kind of what you were looking at in the thing, it is late. What do you do?
I think I'll go upstairs where the rooms are, and I'll stop in front of Kavi's door, and I'll like lift my hand to knock. I just drop it again. I just keep walking, probably back to my room.
As you were leaving, did you say anything to Wrinkle?
I think we probably just would have closed up our conversation, just thinking that that was interesting and that maybe we shouldn't tell her. I think it's probably something that we should just keep under wraps until it becomes, pretty apparent that we need to share that with her. So
he nods. he just kind of nods. He's like, I will. Hmm. I will keep watch for the night. And you see
You're going to keep watch? Do you think they'll find us here?
no, but I don't sleep.
Don't you power down or something?
I can. I don't have to.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for taking a look at all of this with me. I think, this is pretty important stuff. But until it's time. Until it's time. Thanks, Wrinkle. I'll give him a kiss on the cheek and then just walk out.
He does one of those things where it's like you kiss him on the cheek and he does one of those things where he like doesn't quite touch his cheek where you kissed him. And he just kind of watches you leave. Sort of just a look of wonder, if you can glean a look of wonder on a metallic face as you walk away. You go up to your room.
Probably just settle in for the night after that.
Okay. You settle in and you doze and you start to drift off. And as you do, can you please tell me what your passive perception is?
Yes. It's not very high. It's only 12.
Okay. You sleep soundly through the night.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Trin. So you and Javi eventually parts ways with you, feeling some big feelings. What do you do?
I'm gonna give her space because she definitely needs it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go up to my room and probably just stand out on the balcony for a while, enjoying the night view, and just thinking how nice it's been the last couple of days, and then wondering how long it's gonna last.
As you're standing on the balcony, you're taking in the sights and sounds of the city. It's very New York at night vibes. It's not always totally dark. There's always something to see, something to hear, something to smell. Not all of it pleasant. But it's life. It's activity. It's energizing in a way that after the last couple of days you haven't felt since you were just starting out. That sort of hopeful ingenue, just beginning your career. As you kind of breathe that activity, that energy in, you breathe in and you lean your head back and you look at the sky. And as you do, you see this creature about the size of a hummingbird flying and lands on the railing in front of you. And it looks up at you. And you realize, as you're looking at it, once it lands and stops moving, you realize that it's actually not a living creature. It is a construct.
Oh,
And it looks up at you. And it kind of cocks its head to one side. And you see it opens its mouth. And this very kind of trilling melody, it, through a series of whistles and tweets, approximates your full name
okay.
as a question. As if it's asking, is this you?
I'm gonna throw my dagger at it.
Fair enough. Go ahead and roll a ranged attack with your dagger. It'll be Dex plus proficiency.
All right. You said Dex plus proficiency.
Proficiency. Yep.
Yep, that. Okay. Oh, okay. Where is my Dex? Here it is. I mean, I made him nat 20.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's without the bonuses.
You you fling your dagger at this thing, and it it doesn't see it coming. You don't know if it has any kind of like perception at all or anything like that, but like the dagger literally just like pins it to the thing, and you see it just kind of falls apart around the dagger. Like it hits and it kind of sits there in a minute as the dagger is kind of quivering, and then like it just kind of falls in two halves, and you see a little scroll of paper kind of roll out.
Okay. I'll go retrieve my dagger and the paper and knock off what's left of it into the air.
Yeah, the pieces fall
Yep.
off into the great nothing that is the tower, or that is the empty air next to the tower. Um, a little like night drake, little dragon thing kind of flies by. It like snags it in its teeth, thinking it's something edible, and then like as it's flying away, spits it out again. Um, yeah, so you have your dagger back, and you have this. It's maybe like an inch wide, and it's kind of rolled up. I used to do that, like the pieces of paper with the adhesive that they used to wrap around like napkin holders at
Yes.
restaurants. I used to take those and just roll them up into tiny little scrolls. It's like that.
Yeah, let me unroll that and see what nonsense this is.
Okay. The note says, and I'm going to paraphrase because I didn't write this out.
Okay.
Friend, hope you are well. Still waiting on that return that we discussed. And at the bottom, it's just the letter J. Now we get to have a flashback.
Ooh.
The memory, unbidden, flies into Trin's mind of a time when, not long after arriving in Sharn, when she was a struggling performer. She came to Sharn with every hope of being the next big theater star, the next big Broadway star, or equivalent thereto. And things went south very quickly. Almost immediately, your money, your savings, such as they were stolen. When you couldn't pay for your lodging anymore, the person whom you had rented from threw you out. And you realized very, very quickly that you didn't really have even a means to leave, as leaving also cost money. Just taking a lift from the middle district, which is where you were, to the ground costs money. And you had none. You tried plying your trade, busking, for a time. It was not lucrative, but it kept you fed, if not in a home. And then he came. He was friendly enough. He didn't leer at you. He didn't make you feel uncomfortable in that way. Not like some of the other people on the street. But he offered you food and a place to sleep. And you were desperate enough at that point that you would have taken any help you could. And so you did. And in return, well, you didn't know it at first, but he was training you. Training you to be the distraction. To be the distraction while he did the thieving. For too long, you became aware of what he was doing. By this point, you were making pretty decent money. You almost had enough to either leave or move up. The question to you, as this is your character, and I'm not going to dictate everything that she does. When she discovered this duplicity, he did make a very impassioned appeal. You're not hurting anybody. You're relieving fools of their money. And you've made it good. You're getting a name for yourself. People have learned the name of the Nightingale, and not just here. Is this really something you want to leave? So with that impassioned speech, what do you think Trin would have done?
He left.
Say again?
She left.
She left.
He left.
What do you think she would have done then? Would she have left Sharn? Or attempted to leave Sharn?
I think that probably drove her to try to get to the what's it called? Skyway or whatever.
Ultimately aim for the Skyway?
Yes. Just to prove that she could do it honestly on her own.
You worked for a long time and very hard to get to the Skyway. It was not easy. The work was hard. Often the pay was minimal. But you did whatever you could to make sure that people knew the name, the Nightingale. And it paid off. You were playing some of the most wonderful venues in the upper levels of Sharn. Not the Skyway, but the highest echelons of Sharn. And it was good. You were good. And then you got your break. The patron from the Skyway approached you. Well, the lackey of the patron from the Skyway approached you and offered you a place. Now, the patronage here works very much like the bards and minstrels of the court did in younger years, many, many years ago. And you were paid to work for this person, sometimes exclusively just to put on shows for them, but sometimes to work in the legitimate theater, in the Sharn equivalent to Broadway. And again, it was good. And then he came back. He shows up at your door of the apartment that you have been gifted,
Mm.
dressed in clothing that would just barely pass for somebody that lived in the Skyway. And he asks you. He asks you for one favor, for the time that he spent training you, for the food off of his table. He asks you if you would perform one final job with him. And if you do, he will disappear from your life and you will never see him again. In this moment, what did Trin say?
I think that would come down to if she shared anything about her past with this person or anything about herself. If she didn't, then she would have said no.
I guess that depends on whether or not you think you would have shared. I'm not going to make that call.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
If it makes it easier, we can put it down to I can roll a deception and you can roll an insight. And if he beats you, then you would have trusted him enough despite his mistruth.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. So you go ahead and roll an insight just with whatever bonuses you have right now.
21.
Let's see what he rolls. Despite everything that he did, everything that he did for you, you never came to fully trust him. I mean, certainly you trusted him with some things.
Yeah.
But the basic truth of you, it never felt right to share that with him. And so, no, you never told him anything about your past. And given that, your answer would be no.
It would have been no. And then maybe give him some coins to be on his merry way if he's really that desperate for money.
He was angry, but he was never a violent person. He left. Sometime later, he was arrested in the Skyway. Not by the Watch, not by the Citadel agents. He was arrested by the security that works specifically for the Skyway. And the security in the Skyway has their own form of justice that is sort of overlooked by the government, by the authorities, because the people who live in the Skyway are the wealth of Sharn, of Breland, really. are the 1%. You don't. You heard sort of through various channels that somebody had been arrested, and it matched his description. You know how security deals with petty thieves. They never leave the Skyway. But in his, I'm sure, very gentle questioning, he named you. There was no proof. There was nothing to substantiate anything that he'd said. But just his name, your name, in his mouth was enough to stain your good reputation. Your patron dropped you. Now, because there was no proof, you weren't escorted out, you weren't arrested. You were able to stay in the Skyway because you'd made enough money to do so. But that is how you came to work at the Gladiatorio Arena. A position well beneath your varied talents. His name was Haver, Javer. And as far as you knew, he was dead. But this note bears his initial. The dramatics of sending a clockwork creature smacks of him. All of that occurs to you as you read the note in this room in the middle districts of Shard. What do you do, Trin?
Kind of just looking at this, like shaking a little bit, just out of anger and then a little bit of fear because she doesn't know how, one, he's alive, and two, how he could have found her or sent this thing to find her. She's gonna tear it up into tiny, tiny little bits and just throw it into the wind and go inside and just slam the doors behind her.
It's hard to sleep.
Yeah.
But sleep does eventually find you. We cut to a small stone room, probably no more than 10 feet by 10 feet. A single door, a table, two chairs. Sorry, table, three chairs. Two on the side opposite the door are occupied by Eldon and Earl. A light directly overhead, a bare ball of continual flame. Stark white casts odd and disquieting shadows on the floor. The door opens, and Talmot Figueroa commander of the Citadel agents, enters into the room.
What a douche canoe.
That's the wrong picture. He walks in wearing his uniform, but eschewing the shield and sword that he carries while in the field. He doesn't enter the room fully. He just steps through the door, enough to make his presence known. And the two men stare at the table, not making eye contact. Talmud speaks. Y'all have this one opportunity to make it right. If you don't tell me, I gotta run this up the flagpole. Somebody's gonna salute, and eventually it's gonna be somebody that you will answer to. I don't want that for you any more than you want it. But we gotta know. Silence follows. Soft dripping of water somewhere in the building. All right. I'll wash my hands of this. Tomorrow you're gonna meet somebody that I don't think you're gonna like. Talmud withdraws, closes the door. Morning arrives. Birds are chirping outside of the window. Nora, you awaken to the sound of the morning birds. The sun filtering through the various levels of Sharn. It's just bright enough that you can see it filtering through your window. You look out and you see sort of on the lip of the window, there's a surprisingly large number of ants. Having found some sweet little bit of something. Just
I'm gonna go
hanging out
over
there.
and look at them.
Okay. I suppose there's probably not ants in the astral plane.
No, I can imagine there are like foul, big bug creatures of some
Well, here's the
kind.
thing. I feel like there's ants, but they're like
Huge.
horse-sized. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
huge.
yeah. So you
And
see
they
these
like wreak havoc on, yeah.
right, exactly. So like you see these tiny little bugs, and you're like, oh, they're so cute. And yeah, you go to the window and you can open it up, and yeah, you see the little bugs kind of crawling all over this something on the windowsill. Looks like it's a little spot of white.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm gonna look around the room and see if I can find pencil or something that I can
There's a
poke
writing.
it with.
I'd say there's like a writing desk in the room, and there's probably a quill.
Okay. I'll probably take the end of a quill and just like poke it a little bit and see what it is. See if I can tell.
It's liquidy as you kind of poke it. You see the ants kind of scramble a little bit. Like they're not super disturbed. But the ones kind of immediately around the thing are like, oh God, why?
Revenge.
Your cousins are assholes.
Yes.
So you kind of poke it. It's kind of liquidy.
Okay, I'm gonna look up, see if I see anything, like if it were to have dripped down
You look
from somewhere.
up and you don't really see anything other than what's there. As you look down, You see a couple of other of these sort of like dripped white spots, like on like the sill, like the basically like the windowsill below you.
It
And
is so weird.
there's a few
I'm
ants.
gonna
Like there's
smell
ants down
it.
there too.
Can I smell the end of the quill? See if I can smell anything.
It is a very small amount. I'm not saying you can't. It is a very small
Yeah,
amount, and
right.
getting any information out of that is going to be difficult. So yes, I'm going to need you to make a perception check, and the DC is going to be a bit high.
Okay.
Definitely bird poop.
Definitely bird poop. You said investigation?
What's
Perception.
your
Perception.
what's your nature?
Perception. Ooh, my nature. What is my nature? Nature is +1. 17.
17 is really good. It smells sweet.
Small ice cream? Where did this come from? I'm gonna try to remember who had the vanilla ice cream.
You remember that Kavi had turned it into a coffee float.
Okay.
Because we had a whole long
That is
discussion
so-
about how vanilla ice cream has no business being ice cream.
Exactly.
It
Unless you
really,
make it
really
other
doesn't. Yeah.
Unless it is part
It's
of
a
a
base.
vehicle with other things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a base. Yeah, for other things. Yeah.
Rose came out
Okay.
most strongly against inviting those that just like plain ice cream to unsubscribe. It was a whole moment.
That's right. So good.
Strong opinions there. It was hilarious.
And if you're back this week, I invite you to.
No, Rose.
It's a
We
joke.
need
It's
all
a
the
joke.
viewers we can get.
Right, it's a joke. Don't worry about it.
It's
fine.
just a joke.
Or at least don't eat
Oh,
it plain. Make something with it.
Yeah.
So it's acceptable while you're watching the stream.
When we become famous, I'm gonna end up with vanilla ice cream at every con ever.
Deliveries,
Like people are just
yeah.
gonna.
We're gonna show up with vanilla ice
Yep.
cream. Just
We're gonna bring you vanilla everything.
you know what? When we start getting
Gross.
sponsors, I'm actively gonna start seeking out just Blue Bunny vanilla, just to spite you.
I would love
Will
that.
you sponsor us?
I'll make
Sponsor
Rose
us.
do the ad.
Yeah, will you sponsor us to spite Rose and to glorify her hate?
Spite sponsoring.
Spite sponsoring.
Rage sponsoring. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the new fad.
It is the new fad. Well, yeah, I'll have Rose do all the ad copy. It's fine.
That's great. Okay, so I think Lenore would wipe it off. Just like on the windowsill, close the window, put the quill back on the desk, maybe get ready, and then head downstairs. But she's still thinking about that and what it could be. She's making her way downstairs. So
Javi, are you a late sleeper or? Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I think Trin, you
Yeah,
were
I
tossing.
mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
like the caffeine crash at the end of
Yeah.
every day. I would imagine she is quite the late sleeper.
That's fair. That's fair. And Trin, I imagine you were tossing and turning for a while, so I have to imagine that you probably sleep a little bit late too. So yeah, Nora, you go down and you find Wrinkle sitting in the sort of main living space. He seems to have found basically like a sketch pad and has pulled some like literally just some wood charcoal from the fireplace, and he's been doing charcoal drawings. And as you're looking, like there's a series of them kind of arrayed around the room. Let me roll something real quick just
awesome.
to describe this appropriately here.
that's
He's
so
an
cool.
artist. I love it.
So wholesome.
I know.
This game. Gosh.
So he has gone through the journal and has illustrated various scenes from the journal. Not the one that you guys had kind of talked about keeping on the DL for right now. Like he knew enough not to do that. But a couple of like the short stories, like the one of Earl was the urbane one, right? Yeah. Um, one of Earl's descriptions of the Nightingale's performances, he actually drew Trin because he knows that Trin is the Nightingale.
Yep.
He actually drew Trin performing in this imagined space. Now he's not seen the specific theater that she was in, but he's actually drawn Trin, and he actually drew it was sort of like from the perspective of the opera box that Eldon and Earl were sitting in, just behind them, and the long shot of like you can kind of see the sort of nondescript backs of heads of the rest of the crowd in ahead, and then there's the stage with this kind of like charcoal spotlight down, and there's Trin and just incredible detail. I rolled very well on these. Just incredible detail, and like Eldon is kind of sitting back, like he was kind of tended to do when you guys saw him, just a little bit more relaxed. But Earl is like sitting forward with his elbows on the side of the box, just yeah, exactly, just like this, just eyes wide, and just you know, and like and of course it's just like it's 3/4 profile too, because it's kind of from behind him and whatever, but like just these, and so that, and then like a picture of Holgren, uh the werebear or the werewolf, carrying baby Kavi out of the Underdark. Wait, no, he was not doing that one. Which was the one you guys were keeping on the DL? I don't remember.
Yeah. That was that.
That was
Yeah,
that
I
one.
think it's
He
that we
did
were
not draw
keeping,
that
yeah.
one.
Okay.
I would have done their first date was described in there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So he
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
So there's like it's a little quaint little like it's interesting because like he knows it took place in the Eldine Reaches, which is described as these kind of like woodsy, foresty places. Um, but it's still this sort of like it's a cafe, but it's a cafe that is entirely made out of plants and plant life, and like every single detail in this cafe has some like almost elements of life and living and growing. It is this incredibly intricate, detailed charcoal drawing, and it's just a younger Eldon and Earl sitting across the table from each other, just like starstruck, staring into each other's eyes as the rest of the cafe is kind of going on about their business behind them. And like somehow, even though it's a still image, it gives the perception of like the progression of time. Like the
Mm.
far left is like earlier, and just as it continues across the page, they don't change, but like the scene behind them seems to kind of fade into, the end of the date, and it's just this beautifully wrought, beautifully drawn thing. And there's just all over these pictures of the various different events in that were described in the book that seems to have struck his fancy.
Gotcha. I'm gonna pick up the one of Eldon and Earl's first date and just take a look at it. Wrinkle, this is incredible. Have you been working on these all night?
There's not a lot to do when you're just sitting here waiting for something to happen, so I decided to draw.
That's true. That's true.
I couldn't find any
Wow,
pencils,
these
and I don't like drawing in ink because it's permanent. Um, so I made do, and he kind of points to the fight. Like his fingers are like smudged with. He's literally just using his finger as as like a drawing stylus. Um,
I don't know how you
wanna
got this
protect him
detail.
with our
It's just
lives.
what's that,
He's
Meg?
too-
yeah,
He said we have to protect him with our lives. He's too precious.
way too precious. I'm amazed that you got this kind of detail with just your finger. Do you want a napkin or something?
Oh no, I'll just go wash up
Tissue?
in the
No.
kitchen. You see, he kind
Okay.
of stands up,
No,
and
this is great. This is wonderful.
thank you. I
Do you, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Do you have a portfolio? Are you going to keep these?
Like I was
Like a folder.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I honestly hadn't thought about what I was going to do with him after I was done. I just had these vivid pictures in my head when we were reading the book, and I wanted to try to get them in onto paper.
I just had a thought. What if, what if you and I worked on like a little book of illustrations for Kavi? We could give this to her. Just like I could write out like the scene, and then we already have the pictures done. We could give it to her.
Okay.
What do you think? I think it'd be really cool.
I don't. I mean, she was having a lot of stops for a second, trying to think of the word. She was having a hard time yesterday. Do you think this would make her have a hard time again?
That's a really good question.
I'm not saying we
I don't
should
know.
give them to her, but maybe let her not have two hard times in a row.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mean like right now or today. Maybe it's something we could work on for a while. Maybe just feel it out. You don't have to give it to her right now. But
Okay.
I would feel bad just letting these go to waste.
So we should
Worked
keep
so
them, is
hard.
what you're saying.
Oh well, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
You see him open he opens
Oh,
like his shirt and then like unbuttons his shirt and you see the little crystal in his chest and you see him literally open a cavity in his stomach and you see him place them very gently inside and then close it again.
my goodness. Wow. All right, that was a lot easier than I thought. Well, maybe we'll find some binding supplies or something. Make this
Perhaps we
really nice. Thank you for keeping those. I'm glad that we have a way to keep them safe and dry. So it's awesome.
dry. He
They're
has
great.
dry.
Yeah, it's
I honestly don't know if it's watertight.
oh,
I don't. I haven't. To my memory, I don't think I've kept anything in there before that would have a problem with being wet. Guess we'll find out.
we can find out. Yeah, we can find out later. Have you eaten? Do you need to eat?
I do not need to eat, but I feel like you probably do, as will the others. I was going to go make coffee because Kavi seems to like coffee.
Let's. I will help you 100%. Um, and just really quickly, did you see anyone with ice cream, like the vanilla ice cream? Did you have any last night and perhaps
I
sit outside my window?
He doesn't
I
react like
found
that.
okay. I know.
He does the Warforged equivalent of that. I don't know what that would be, but he does the
I
Warforged equivalent of that. I would not presume to do that. I feel that that would be unsettling.
you are not wrong. I found it was the weirdest thing. I woke up this morning and I saw like drips of ice cream outside my window. There were ants. They're so small here. It's really quite nice. But there were ants eating this ice cream, and so Kavi last night was the only one eating the vanilla ice cream, and she was mixing it with coffee. She wasn't just leaving it as vanilla.
No, she wasn't.
I was
When
just
she was done, she said something about vanilla only being good with other stuff and dumped the rest and threw the rest of it away. So I don't know where that vanilla would
oh,
have come from. I'm
she
ad-libbing a
threw it
little bit because that
away.
super didn't happen in game, but I'm just throwing that in there.
Where did she throw it away? Did she throw it away in here? Sorry, last
Where
night's
would
kind of a
Kavi have thrown
blur.
it away? Would Kavi have thrown it away in the appropriate receptacle, or would she have just chucked it out the damn window? There it is.
I knew.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I believe we were in the observatory
yes, there you go.
with the instruments,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I would have.
And where is the observatory in the house?
It
Like,
is up.
okay.
Make a spatial relations check. I don't know. I don't even know what that would be. Make an
What
intelligence
would
check.
that
Just straight intelligence.
intelligence?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what a spatial relations
Not
check.
great. 7.
You can't quite, the way the house is laid out on the interior, you can't quite picture where the observatory would be in relation to your bedroom.
Okay. That's so weird. Okay.
You
I'll
know it's
maybe
up though,
ask
so
her
it is possible
up.
that it might have spilled over your room. It's possible. You just can't picture where, like, you can't think if the observatory is like over your room where that would have potentially
Mhm.
happened, or like on the other
Right.
side of the house where it would no way that could happen. You don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it was just weird. I guess I'll ask her when she comes down. It's not a big deal. I just thought I would ask. It was just kind of weird to wake up to this morning, but not a problem. I'll help you with the coffee though. Yeah.
And he goes into the kitchen and starts walking. Like he washes his hands and. All right.
Several hands.
Kavi, you wake up. You're I mean, you're young and malleable. I'm sure sleeping in a bathtub is still a thing that you can do without being in excruciating pain. I can't imagine it was pleasant, especially being a 7 foot tall bugbear. But yeah, you wake up. You're a little sore, but You're none the worse for wear. What do you do?
I think when she wakes up, she just like kind of like usually just touches her necklace, and so the fact that it's kind of not there, um, she's kind of trying to decide if she'd been kidnapped.
You have this momentary panic of like the locket's gone, and you're not where you remember being, and then a half a second after that, the events of the night before come crashing back in.
Okay. Fine. And she will go back into her room.
I'm
Is then
picturing an adjacent like
yeah,
bathroom. Like it's
yeah,
part of your room, so it's
like
not
a
like
Jack
it.
and Jill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes in. Is the locket still sitting there?
Mhm.
Is it on its own chain or is it like a piece of it?
It's a piece of it. And it's not like when you put it together, it's not like it like slid together and would stay. Like you'd actually have to like figure out a way to fix it.
She'll take the bit
The new
and
bit or the old bit?
the new bit
Okay.
and put it in her bag of holding.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then put her necklace back on.
Okay.
And then look around and try and decide what she's supposed to wear. Is there like are there like workout clothes there for her? Or did she, I mean, I'm assuming she would have brought some things, but
I think the clothes that are here are, if there are any clothes here, they're clothes that would have fit her when she was living here.
okay.
So there really isn't anything, unless you're super into the baby tea look. I don't think there's really anything here for you.
She will go find Eldon and Earl's room
Like across the hall.
and find just like a peasant shirt or something to that
Mhm.
effect.
Yeah. Eldon is big into robes.
Yeah.
Um, So like he's big into like big flowy things. Like so even though like he's the human, he's not a large man. He likes big flowy loose clothing. Um and so yeah, you're able to find like a peasant shirt. There's a robe that you could throw on over it. The robe is like the peasant shirt fits okay. The robe may be a little tight in the shoulders, but you can
I'll
like
just rip
it'll
the
fit.
shoulders off.
Okay, you sleeves are bullshit anyway, so those are gone.
Sleeves are bullshit. I will like so kind of like making like a vest,
Yeah.
like a long
So
vest
you've
with
got like the peasant shirt with the sleeves going down. You rip the sleeves
Mhm.
off the robe, so you now have sort of like a sleeveless cardigan situation going on.
Yeah. Um, and then I will find some kind of like fancier jewelry. Like realizing that she kind of has to look like if she's gonna go out, that she has to look like as like normalish.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, let's
and
face it, Earl has jewels.
yeah.
Uh, and I feel like Earl is exactly the kind of father. Yeah, I'm going to use this. Earl is exactly the kind of daddy gay that would have a tiara.
Mhm.
Whether or not you decide to wear the tiara is up to you, but he 100% has one, probably more than one.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's just like she's going for what she thinks middle looks like.
What she thinks middle class looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Is Rose's interpretation of this, and Rose's, not Kavi's, are we thinking this is skewed up a little bit more because she doesn't really have a lot of exposure to the sort of middle class? So like you're definitely a little overdoing it, or are you thinking it's a little dressed down from that?
I I think it's dressed down from that because I think Kavi would have seen some of the gladiators
That's true.
come in and out, and so it wouldn't be so like, but it's probably slightly more casual.
Okay.
Um, so she is trying to like look kind of like a she was just fucking around, right?
Sure.
At
Yeah,
this point,
absolutely.
she's like the I'm getting dressed, but I'm fucking dad's shit up. I am
This is
spite dressing.
a spite dressing.
I
This is
love it.
this is a very teenage thing to do, and I'm here for it.
Very, very.
Mhm.
Um,
And then the realization that she has to make her own coffee.
as that realization hits, the longing and the sort of sadness that kind of comes along with that hits you in the same moment that just a healthy dose of a coffee smell hits you, that for a second you think it's sort of like a sense memory thing, like you imagined it, but then it stays and you realize that somebody has made coffee.
I'm gonna run downstairs to see my dad's because I'm pretty sure they're there.
Well, that's going to be sad.
It's so sad.
We're going to jump up to Trin before that happens.
Oh no,
That is heartbreaking.
so sad. Oh
Sad.
my
It is
God.
heartbreaking.
God damn it, Rose.
Oh, Rose.
You can tell I'm a trauma DM, can't
Oh
you?
my god, yes.
So sad.
I mean, you realize all this is like cozy and trauma bonding, right? That's all we're
Right.
doing.
That's all
here.
we're doing.
Yeah, that is.
Woof.
All right, so we're gonna jump up to Trin.
Oh my
Trin,
God.
you wake up with what feels just shy of a hangover. Um, it's the headache, but it's not like a full blown headache. It's just kind of like it hurts, but it's not quite enough to suck, but it still sucks because it
Yeah.
persists. It's one of those whenever I always joke with the doctors when they ask me what my pain level is on a 1 to 10 scale. I said it's pi. It's low grade but never ending.
It's fair.
That's kind of where you're at right now.
Gotcha.
And it's not like you aren't hungover, you didn't drink to
Yeah.
excess last night or anything like that. It's just you had an emotional night, you're very drained, and you're dehydrated.
Yep. She's gonna get up, kind of take a look around the room, kind of spy out on the balcony to make sure there's no other surprises out there.
Make a perception check as you glance out
Ooh.
on the balcony.
I rolled a 1.
Okay,
That
you
makes it 8 total.
not a damn thing. All right. Nope, nothing to see here.
It's that headache.
Yeah. Those
That
headaches are rough, man.
You
Yeah.
like walk out into the sunlight and you're like,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
turn
no.
That's what it
Can't
was.
do it.
She
Going
went
back.
to look on the balcony and it was just like, oh god, it's too bright. It's too bright. She's gonna get her backpack and really start making sure everything is like ready for travel and take stock of how much gold she still has and if it's enough to leave and finally leave Sharn. And then is there a bathroom in the room or like adjacent to it?
Yeah. This is
Okay. Yeah.
like it's suburbia, but it's like the high end of suburbia. So yeah, like I think just about every room has its own every bedroom has its own dedicated bathroom.
She's gonna take the time to take a nice hot shower because she doesn't know once she leaves if she'll have the opportunity to get to do that again for a while.
I will note for you
Mm-hmm.
when you take stock of what you have, because you only had what you had with you when you went to the arena that night.
Yep.
You have enough money for you and just you
Okay.
to get out of Sharn.
All right.
You do have more money where you've been staying, but you're not sure if that's accessible to you right now.
Yep.
So you go take a nice hot shower. Just because I'm a dick, make a perception check while you're in the shower.
Okay, that was better. Let's see. 21.
So you're in the shower and you turn the water and you crank it up to a good steamy temperature. Not quite like melt your flesh off warm, but just south of that, right?
Mhm.
That sounds good right now. Anyway,
Not quite melt my flesh, but pretty close.
yeah, but just shy of it. Like if you stand in one place too long, you might have a problem.
I'm just gonna burn the pain away. It's fine.
And as so you turn it up and you strip down and you get into the shower. You close the curtain and you're just kind of soaking it in, right? You're letting the water run over you, letting the heat. And again, like if you stand still too long, it starts to not be pleasant. So you kind of move your body in and out of the water. And at one point, you glance up at the shower head, and you see from the little shower head, you see a little crystal, and you are immediately taken back to the cold rooms under the arena and the trapped creature that was there. And you realize there is another trapped creature here, and that's why your water is warm.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna, after seeing that, I'm gonna finish up and get out, get dressed. Now I'm curious to where this poor thing is.
Cost for everything.
Mm.
Yeah, the above table. Everything in Eberron is based on it, like all of the kind of magic tech in Eberron is based on trapped elementals. Flying ships, a lot of the tech, hot and cold running water, air conditioning, all of it is elementals that are trapped in gems and being forced to provide the service that they were being forced to provide.
Can I like pry that out?
You God damn it. You can certainly try.
Well, and two, are our characters used to this? Because this is part of the world?
Here's the thing, Nora, you don't know it exists. You don't know this is a
Yeah.
thing. Because that is not how technology works in the astral.
Right. Right.
Javi probably doesn't know. Things just work or they don't. Because she's never really had much experience being exposed to stuff like that. I think, Corinne, you're less cut and dry than the rest. I feel like this would be a case, and I think this is sort of the case for most sort of normal citizens.
Mm.
It's what I don't know won't hurt me situation. So it's sort of a willful ignorance.
Yeah.
I don't want to think
Kind of like
about
recycling
I don't want to
plastic. You're
think
like,
about
Yeah.
the ethics of this, so I'm going to pretend it's not happening.
Yeah.
To answer your question, yes, you can attempt to remove it. Do you have thieves' tools
I
or tinker's
don't.
tools or anything like that?
I don't think so. Let me look. I have a disguise kit, but no.
Okay.
I was just gonna try to pry it with my dagger.
So yeah, you can try to pry it with your dagger. The likelihood that you're probably not going to ruin the actual gem itself. You're definitely going to ruin the shower.
I'm gonna try to pry it out.
Okay, no roll. You pry it out. You wreck the shower, but you pry it out.
Do I know how to get them out?
You have no idea.
I'm just gonna put it in my backpack.
And actually, as you pry it out, two of them fall out.
Oh. Oh yeah, probably for hot and cold. Yeah, I'll take both. I'm gonna get
They're just
dressed.
they're they're gems, little crystalline gems. Neither of them are larger than like a quarter.
Okay.
You get dressed and you head downstairs
With my bag. I'm
with
taking
your
everything.
bag. As you step out into the hallway, that is the moment where you hear Kavi bounding down the stairs with a great deal of exuberance.
Now I'm just curious to what she's in a hurry about.
Avi, you bound down the stairs, excited, like, I don't know, how are you feeling in this moment? You think your dads are down there, but I don't want to presume that you're like super happy to see them or anything like that. So what are you feeling in this moment as you're going down, convinced that your parents are down there, your dads are down there?
I think she's exactly like because she had decided that she was being kicked out or abandoned or something. She hadn't really like so. Oh, good. The joke's over. Everything's fine. They came back this morning. Kind of like, okay, well, and so she kind of like bounding down the stairs, ready to turn the corner, and she makes the whistle sound that she made at her house when she got there before.
Okay. You make the whistle sound as you kind of get down to the bottom of the stairs. Um, it's not returned. And as you come around the corner into the kitchen, you see not your father's, but Wrinkle and Nora making the coffee. Well, honestly, probably standing next to the coffee as it percolates.
Coffee. Good morning. are you feeling? How are you feeling? Right, is everything okay? What?
Where, where are they?
Who? 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 Where? Who?
I think Wrinkle immediately starts looking around for somebody else.
Oh no.
You made the coffee. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And she just sits.
Welcome. Would
Was
you
that-
like a cup?
Was that bad? Should we not have made the coffee?
No, it was smart.
And he goes and gets you some coffee.
She just lets it like sit on her, but is trying to make sure no one else understood what she's.
I'm gonna lean over. I assume we're at like a counter or a
Mhm.
table or something.
I feel like there's like an island in this kitchen.
Mhm.
And it's one of those islands that you can kind of sit on any of the sides
Yeah.
at any particular moment. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's what you're looking at there.
You okay?
Yeah, everything's great.
Okay. Let me know if you need anything though, more than just
No,
coffee.
that's what I need right there.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm gonna get started on breakfast. I need some protein food. Is it okay if I
Do we
rate
have food?
the icebox? I don't. I'll go and poke around. Open cupboards.
Yeah, there's
See if there's an icebox.
there's a chest of colding. Um,
Cool.
That's funny.
it's a fridge.
I like it.
I wish that was mine. That's a Critical Role thing.
Mm.
But yeah, there's a chest.
That's
There's a
great.
chest of colding, and it's got frozen. Here's the thing. Like, there's not eggs or anything like that because eggs really don't freeze and they don't keep.
Mhm.
But there's meats. There's dried non-perishable dried goods. There's stuff here that you can make a pretty decent breakfast. So you could do like oatmeal and bacon,
Okay.
or something to
Maybe
that
some
end.
trail mix
Yeah,
too.
some trail mix. Basically, a
Okay.
bunch of non-perishable stuff.
Sure.
Stuff that would
Sure.
keep for a long while. I am going to retcon something real quick, Nora. I think when Wrinkle put the pictures away, he left out the one that he'd done of Trin.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
And this Trin
cool.
comes down the stairs behind Kavi, as he's sort of just handed Kavi her coffee. You see Wrinkle kind of sees you, Trin, as like clocks you as you come down the stairs. And he goes, good morning. I made something that I would like to share with you.
Good morning. Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of, and he like points to Kavi and Trin. It's kind of for both of you, but 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 anyway. So he pulls out the picture that he'd done of Earl and Eldon witnessing the Nightingale's performance, and he puts it on the counter before the two of you.
Amazing. He did that. He drew that with his finger.
As she looks at it, just for like half a second, there's just like this really quick look of sadness on her face, but it's super quick. So I don't know if any and then before she kind of goes into acting mode.
Can I roll to see if I pick that up?
Beautiful.
If you guys want to roll an insight check, you can roll an insight check.
I want to roll on it.
We're gonna say Trin to counter this. You can make either a deception or persuasion. It is up to you, and you do not have to tell me which.
Alrighty. 14.
Okay. What was your
25.
ins- 25.
Damn.
Yeah, you fully clock that moment. And
Damn.
dear God,
Yeah, I was like, holy crap.
I rolled a natural 20 and I have
Okay.
a +5 to
Oh
That's-
shit, yeah.
so,
There's your problem.
yeah.
Wrinkle, this is absolutely fantastic. How did you do this?
Well, the journal had the details of the Earl's experience seeing you perform, and when he was talking about it in the book, because this part you all had been privy to. When he was talking about it in the book, I had a picture in my head, and last night when I was sitting around, kind of doing not a lot of anything, I figured if there was a picture in my head, maybe their picture could be on a piece of paper. And so I did that.
Fantastic. I remember this night. I love that play.
He just kind of
Coffee?
he has no idea what you're talking about, honestly.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he doesn't know anything from theater, but he just kind of
Like,
nods.
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Coffee, do you mind if I keep this?
Oh, that's fine. It's not mine. It's for you.
Well, he said it was for both of us, but
It's for you.
oh, thank you. Thank you, Wrinkle.
Of course.
She's going to very delicately. She's going to start looking around like the house in the library or something for like something to put it in so it doesn't get messed up before she puts it in her bag.
I think probably in one of the offices there's the fantasy equivalent of a manila envelope.
Yeah, she's going to grab that and put it in the backpack and
It's Eberron. It's a manila
Yeah,
envelope.
set it
It's
aside
just
and
that's just what it is.
put it in her bag, ready to go.
We have, well, it looks like we have road food here if anyone's hungry. Got astral trekking food. I guess it'd be Eberron
Where are we going?
food.
Did you
Ugh.
find the location of the place where we're supposed to go?
Found a few locations where we could try it out. Wrinkle, do you have a preference of or know of any of these places if they're nearby? I'm not familiar with this world. I guess it just depends on where we want to go to.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where it is you want to go. The Eldeen Reaches are. He kind of cants his head to the side. The Eldeen Reaches are not close, and I'm not certain how I know that.
What about Great
Was-
Pine?
Yeah, wasn't there
Oh,
sorry,
sorry, Green Heart.
out of character? Wasn't there like a stone something or
Kyber.
Do I have a map since I travel a lot?
Okay,
Is there a
so
map
I guess
here?
out of character, we're all tracking that we need to go somewhere. I'm not 100% clear on where you guys think you need to go. So, there's a
That's
number of
true.
places that were mentioned in the journal.
yeah.
There was Greenheart, which is in the Eldeen Reaches, which, as he said, are not close. Kyber was mentioned, but it was mentioned in the section that Kavi is currently unaware of.
Mm,
Kyber is this world's version of the Underdark.
that's right.
No, there was one of her guides was from like an island that wasn't terribly far away.
Was it the elf?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So that is Arenial. That is the elven island nation of Arenial. It is not, relatively speaking, it is not terribly far away, but it is a it is a book a ship and sail there over the course of probably like a week far
Oh.
away. Whereas the Eldeen Reaches is like on foot, it would be like 3 or 4 months away. Okay.
Well,
2 or 3 months away.
Because I thought there was
Didn't-
something about. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to remember. It's been a while, and I'm not a note taker. I thought there was something that we were going to help Wrinkle figure out that we also felt like was attached to my story, like my history that we found in the book.
Weren't we looking at going to the Elf Island because we thought they might have information?
Yeah, that would help. That would help Wrinkle.
Wrinkle had a memory of a dark elf, a drow.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
But the drow are not from Arenial. They're from an area called Zendrick, which is a continent to the south. If this is if Corvair, the continent you're on, is the United States, Zendrick is Africa.
Okay.
I think that's where we had discussed going.
Did we want to stay around and see if we could just lay low and find your dads? Weren't we just waiting for things to die down, or did we want to go far? I mean, I'm free. I'm good either way. I should probably just find a way to contact the Purple Ocean and just let them know that I'm okay. But I'm good traveling anywhere. Where do we want to go? Or do?
I'm free to travel anywhere. I used to travel all the time. I actually missed that quite a bit. I was planning on leaving Sharn anyway.
2 for travel. Awesome. Also, we should probably find a way to make money. I heard from the adventurers that came through the tavern that they would do just random jobs, sometimes killing people, sometimes fighting monsters to make money, fill bounties. Should we do that?
Money. Where was my place of residence? Is it here in the middle?
No, it's fully in the Skyway at this point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Why would we do that?
To make money?
Great. Why would we do that?
We need money to travel.
Pay for fares, food, shelter. I can't imagine your dads have all the places and all the areas. That would be awesome, do they?
But we have money.
Where?
I don't have money. I didn't really bring much with me.
I have.
Well, you fell through a hole. No one expects you to have what you need. We will provide for that.
Now, I don't expect that. I can totally bus or something at a nearby tavern. But
is there a safe of some kind that she would know of? In the house?
Make a.
Otherwise, I'm gonna go steal the tiaras and stuff and hack them.
Pawn the tiaras.
No, I don't think you know of a safe. It doesn't mean there isn't one, but I don't think you know of a safe.
I do know of my dad's, and I know where one would have been in our other house.
That's true. You know what? Based on that, you think you know where to look. If there is a safe, you know where to look where you think there ought to be one. You just don't know if there is one.
Perception?
I mean, realistically,
Investigation?
You can make an investigation check inside the office, which is where you think it would be. I will say, if you want to drag one of the rest of these folk with you, they could potentially give you the help action.
Okay.
We can all look for it.
So give me a plus.
It gives you
an
advantage,
extra
so you
die.
roll twice and take the better.
11.
Oh no!
Okay.
With advantage?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You go to the office where you think they'd have the safe. Words are hard. You go to the office where you think they'd have the safe, and you kind of you glance around a little bit. You see like the office here, while it's decorated differently, is set up spatially very similar to the office that your dads have back up in the Skyway. So you're like, well, the safe up there is just kind of behind this painting, and there's just a painting.
Well, this is stupid. And she will go upstairs and just take the tiaras and the jewelry and the other things. She will see if, as she's walking around, if her necklace hums anywhere in the room. Like how the door unlocked when she came in.
Good thinking. I would say that it does not.
Okay. Then she would just go take a jewelry box worth of stuff.
You go loot the jewelry box. We'll say that your dad would have left the not over the top expensive stuff here. So like there's a good amount of jewelry. It is valuable, but it's not like his high end stuff.
Sure, that's fine.
As you are
We
walking
stealing
downstairs with like the
things?
jewelry
Oh,
box
that's loaded.
under your arm, and the rest of you are kind of trailing behind, there is a decided. It is a clear but still somewhat tentative knock at the front door.
I will hand the stuff over.
Rickle kind of takes it, like he was kind of standing next to you, and you just kind of reach out, and he just takes it.
I will walk straight to the front door and I will swing the door open, attempting to appear as large as I possibly can.
The ice cream man from yesterday fully takes like a whole step back as you do that. He's like, "Whoa, okay, hi, um,
Hello?
hi." And here's the thing: like you recognize him, like his face, but he's not wearing the uniform currently. You don't see his cart.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hi, good, you're here. Listen, is your friend the one with the accent also here still? Look,
What's going on?
somebody came and was looking for her yesterday. And I don't like y'all paid me to keep my mouth shut, and I did. I don't know what you're wrapped up in, but she's looking for you. Not you, the other one, but like she's looking, and she was kind of. I'm not afraid to say it. She was kind of scary.
Were you followed?
I'm hiding.
I mean, I don't think so.
Okay. And you didn't tell her anything?
Well, no, I just she asked me what happened to all of my ice cream and if I'd seen any of you, well, you, your accented friend. And I said, just my normal customers.
Oh, okay. Then we should be fine.
I just like I don't know or want to know what is going on. Just she was pretty scary. And I don't want you seem like nice folk. You paid me a lot of money for the ice cream that you got. I don't want bad things to happen to you. I just thought you should know.
Okay. I that's very nice. That's very nice of you.
I'm gonna go to work.
What does she look like?
Uh, tall. Just about as tall as you. Um, wings, horns. Kind of a like kind of a dusky yellowish, like gold, but gold covered in dust. Um,
As tall as me?
yeah, yep, as tall as you. Um,
Kabi like tries to stand up straighter. Looks very offended.
Like, are you sure?
How dare you?
I, I, I mean no offense. You asked for a description, and I'm trying to be as descriptive as I can be.
Okay.
Uh, But yeah, I mean, some of it. I mean, some of it was horn, really, which
Oh, okay, okay,
I don't know if
okay.
that counts.
No, it doesn't.
Um, um, but yeah, had sort of like a crown and like like a great coat situation going on. She had a wicked looking scimitar on her side, sort of tight, severe hair, kind of pulled back. Um, hooved feet. Like she didn't have people feet. She had like goat feet.
Hmm. Sir, were you drinking last night?
I know it sounds odd. I'm sober. I don't drink.
Okay.
Look, I know it sounds crazy, but the last 24 hours have been honestly some of the weirdest of my life.
You're telling me.
Um, and I just she was looking.
How
She looked
often do you sell vanilla?
like as a practice, or how often do people purchase vanilla?
Do people actually buy it? Between us.
Just I mean, not a lot, but
Okay.
if I don't stock it,
People get upset.
there are people who get upset. Yeah,
They
I mean,
get
so
offended. I
here's the thing. Like,
understand.
I know I sell out of a cart, but some people purchase it to like keep in their homes and like add it to stuff. So
Right.
a lot of times, if I do sell vanilla, it's usually like by the pint.
Okay. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Just big scary lady looking for your friend, and you guys were kind to me, which
I have a very unusual question. You seem to know the area, yeah?
yeah, I mean, I've been working around here for most of my adult life.
If I was to send a message to a different plane, hypothetically speaking, where might one do that?
I don't plane. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. But if you want to send
Like
a
the
message,
astral sea.
I don't know what that is. I do
I
know if
don't either.
you want to send a message, you go to the dragon marked house, House Civis. The gnomes there can send messages pretty much anywhere.
House Civis. Is that here?
I mean, yeah, there's actually a couple of locations in Sharn. Um, he's like he kind of thinks about it for a second. He's like, yeah, actually, and he gives you some direct. Like it's not on this level; it's down a couple. Bearing in mind that like the middle section encompasses several levels of
Sure.
stuff. He's like, it's not like this specific level; it's down a couple, but like he gives you directions.
Okay. And that so would you sell things there too?
Uh, the gnomes probably not. If you have items to sell, like you might want to, depending on what it is, like if they're, I guess, things that you picked up adventuring, you'd probably just go to one of the shops and sell them there. Or if it's goods or that sort of thing, you'd go to. I mean, depending on what they are, if they're valuables, you could take it to the House Kandarik Bank, or you could. I mean, it just depends on what it is.
Okay.
Are you okay? Do I need to like do you
Friend's gonna like pop in like next to coffee. No, we're fantastic, and thank you so much for coming and letting us know that we have people looking for us. We appreciate it. She's gonna kind of start walking him like out the doorway, down the thing, kind of put her arm around him.
he kind of goes with and he's like, "Look, I, yes, I see I'm going, but really are you okay?"
I think we're fine. Yeah, we're gonna be great. And thank you for your trouble, and we're sorry, that you had somebody asking questions. Did you have anyone else asking any questions recently, or just the lady?
Just the big scary hoofed lady.
Well, I'm very sorry for that experience. Here, let me. Here's another gold for your trouble.
But I thought you just said we needed that. She yells from the.
I have more. I just have to get it.
He takes the gold. Just don't end up on a missing poster somewhere, and he walks away.
Same to you, sir. Do have a good day.
Oh, as he walks away, he does stop and he turns. One other sort of weird thing, and I wasn't going to mention it, but all of this is weird, so maybe it won't seem super weird, especially given what your friend asked. He points at Kabe, what your friend just asked me. I don't sell a lot of vanilla ice cream. She bought some.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And he turns and
You
walks
were
away.
holding out on us? I thought I bought everything you had.
Why you did from my cart, but I have more in my box of colding.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, have a good day.
Thank you again, sir.
He walks away. This poor guy. He's just a dad, and he's real
I'm
concerned.
surprised that he came back at all.
I'm gonna come out
I
from
may or may
where
not have been channeling my own father in that moment. So
Fair.
Yes, I have gold, Kavi. I just have to go get it.
what the hell? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a second. Someone is looking for me
Well,
and bought the vanilla ice cream. That's the white one, right?
yes.
There was drops of vanilla ice cream outside of my window this morning when I woke up. She's here. Whoever this woman is, creature.
She doesn't sound familiar to you? I mean, you did come
No.
here by accident, so maybe they sent someone to look for you.
Is it in Graz? They weren't like that. They would trust me. Why would they send someone after me? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, do you have anyone that would have been concerned by your sudden disappearance?
Nitz would have. Like I said, he was fine. He knew that I was, of the age of adventuring, and we had talked about it before and what that life was like. He told me to be careful.
Well,
No, this sounds like a bounty, to be honest. I have talked to enough adventurers to know that this sounds
Why
like
do you have a bounty out for you?
I don't know. I never left the tavern. I was friends with all of the patrons. They would come and go.
the book you were reading out of, that wasn't like some forbidden home of some sort, was it?
The book that we found here?
No, the
No.
one that you read that
Come
accidentally
through the
got you
hole.
Oh, no. That was just one of my spell books, and I pull it out.
That book.
It has...
That's the one.
Yeah. I mean, we can flip through it and look. It just has some spells in it and some things I've been practicing and trying to learn. I mean, I had never done that spell before, but it didn't say that there were any consequences from doing it.
Astral travel isn't forbidden, is it?
No.
Oh, well,
I mean, it's kind of, especially the rock where we were at, was a very neutral place where adventurers would stop in, they would rest, then they would leave. It's kind of a lawless area.
The book was yours, acquired
It was a gift, yeah, from one
From-
of the patrons that came in. But I've had it for years. I've been practicing spells out of it. Nothing has ever happened. I haven't seen the patron again. Sometimes things are left to, we've lost and found.
Maybe they're looking for the person that gave you the book and not necessarily you.
That would have been years ago, though. It's possible. I mean, they can have the book back. I'd be sad, but they can have it back if they want it. Why wouldn't they just knock on the door? Why would they
Because they didn't
sit
know where
outside
we
my
were.
window?
Well, they didn't hurt the ice cream vendor, and they haven't done anything to you, so maybe we should look outside
Okay.
around the house. I see if they're here. I don't know.
The roof, probably.
Okay. And Gubby starts up the side of the building.
Tommy's just like, okay, let's do this.
So we cut away from this scene as Kavi is starting to climb up the side of the building. Another building. It's not again. It's another building. And I would say that as she's doing that and Nora is looking up, you would note the observatory is not over your room. We cut back to that cell where the two fathers are awaiting whatever whatever is there to meet them. The door to the cell, the interrogation room, opens. And in walks an elderly human man. Long, white, kind of tousled hair, thick beard, not Viking style, like it's kept close, kind of like mine, just white instead of the kind of, I'm getting there. Kind of a Richard Harris circa Gladiator look. Hooded robe, which the hood's down, but it's a hooded robe, kind of long raiments. He's got a walking stick that he's using, very resting on very heavily. And the two dads look up in some measure of confusion. This is not what they were expecting. The door opens, and the old man steps inside. The door closes. And the old man eyes them with sort of aging, roomy eyes. My name is Jasp. I have some questions for you. And that's where we'll end our session for the day. So, everybody who watched, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. We love you so much. We're gonna do a grassroots campaign for let's go with Ben and Jerry's. Let's go with Ben and Jerry's. So hashtag Ben and Jerry's sponsor of monsters. That's what we're going with. So grassroots, start throwing that all over Twitter. That's what I want to see everywhere. I want to look at that hashtag and I want to see a million references to it on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. Do your thing. Let's make this happen. I want to make Rose read the most ridiculous vanilla positive copy I possibly can.
It'll be amazing.
It'll be amazing.
From all of the famous TikTokers here, we need you to go out and do this. We need you to make this happen. It's got to happen.
Manifest it. Make it be the change you want to see in the world. So thank you all for joining us. We love you so very much for sticking with us on this crazy adventure, and we will see you next time.
Well, good night.